Warning. This film discusses ethical non-monogamy, swinging, and polyamory. It may prompt you to question your relationship status and could lead to increased empathy, better listening, controlling your jealousy, and self-discovery. Viewer discretion advised.
Hey. Good morning, beautiful.
Morning, handsome.
Last night was fun.
Last night was amazing. That thing you did with your tongue.
Oh yeah? You liked that, did you? Couldn't tell over all the movie.
Shut up. Ooh, you want to hear some gossip?
Absolutely.
So, last night at dinner, I overheard Matt telling Beth something about opening up the relationship.
Interesting. What does that mean, though?
Honestly, I don't really know.
Good morning, you two! A lot of couples have been asking this very same question lately.
You heard that, right?
What's going on here?
Who are you?
Think of me as a guide for those who are curious about the world beyond traditional monogamy. Why not take a seat and we can dive in together? I've gathered a group of experts, sex therapists, and couples who I think you might be interested in hearing from.
Seriously, how'd you get in here?
Look, do you want to learn about this or not?
Yeah?
Yes.
Then take a seat and we'll get it on. What is the first thing that comes to mind when I say love?
Love. Love. Above all things, I believe in love. Love is like oxygen. Love is a many splendid thing. Love lifts us up where we belong. All you need is love.
What is the first thing that comes to mind when I say relationship?
It was no surprise to me when I finally understood that he was the most beautiful person I had seen in all my life.
So it's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be really hard. And we're gonna have to work at this every day, but I wanna do that because I want you. I want all of you, forever.
So what was it like being married?
It's hard for sure, but there's something that feels so good about sharing your life with somebody.
Now, what is the first thing that comes to mind when I say ethical non-monogamy? Okay, looks like this is where we need to start. For most people, the traditional arrangement of monogamy, which is two people falling in love and desiring to only be intimate with each other, is assumed, and it works for most people. Monogamy, as defined by Webster's, is A, the state of practice of having only one sexual partner at a time, and B, the state or custom of being married to only one person at a time. But obviously, it's so much more than that. It's the relationship style you see every day shown in pop culture. It's a style of relationship that has many different reasons for being so popular, from economic reasons to making kingdoms more powerful. It's the relationship model you know best because it's just so ingrained in our day-to-day lives.
I guess that's just kind of how I always assumed a relationship would work.
Yeah, when you find your person, that's it. You don't need anyone else.
So I would say monogamy in general is good. I think a lot of people do well with monogamy. Having a partner that you can rely on and you know that that's your one person is huge.
Something monogamy does right. When the clock hits on New Year's, I know who I'm kissing if I'm monogamous.
I have many friends who are in extremely happy, healthy, monogamous relationships. I think there can be a lot of stability. There can be a lot of security.
I think there is a lot of value in monogamy that works for a pretty large portion of the population. It's not a bad choice. I also don't think polyamory is an upgrade to monogamy.
There are some evolutionary psychologists who argue that human beings evolved to be monogamous, to pair bond, because that is adaptive for the survival and welfare of our children. At the same time, though, there are other researchers who argue that we evolved to be non-monogamous, and that by putting ourselves in this monogamous context, we're actually going against our nature. And honestly, what I can tell you as a researcher is that we don't really know.
This idea that to be like a mature, responsible adult, you have to find the person who's going to be your one. who you're going to be monogamous with, who's going to be the center of your world, your best friend, your everything. It's something that a lot of us in the community describe as the relationship escalator. And, you know, kids is like, first comes love, then comes marriage, then comes the baby and the baby carriage. Like, that's the relationship escalator. And it's so pervasive in our culture that we teach it to children, to like toddlers and elementary school children. This idea that you're supposed to find the one person who is the one for you and ride the escalator all the way up to the very peak. And if at any point you want to stop or move backwards, that's not the one. So you have to discard them completely, erase them from your life, and then find a new person to ride the escalator with.
I think monogamy is like a valid option. The problem in this society is like we don't view anything other than monogamy as an option. So many people are defaulting into monogamy.
There is nothing wrong with monogamy, and it may be the best relationship style for you. But what if there were alternatives? What if there was a group of people and communities who felt they desired more than just one-on-one relationships?
I think ethical non-monogamy seems more realistic for a lot of people who aren't considering it.
I also think non-monogamy is practiced quite a bit by cheating. So a lot of people had like one continuous monogamous relationship to death is rare. And the probability of someone cheated sometime in their monogamous relationship is high. So they are practicing non-monogamy just in the cheating form.
No, I've never tried monogamy. You know, I found that the lifestyle is a much more healthy expression of that sexual freedom.
What is the lifestyle?
People use a lot of different terms when they're talking about sexually open relationships, and people don't always agree on the same set of language. So for example, you'll often hear the term consensual non-monogamy used as an umbrella term. You'll also hear ethical non-monogamy. Some people might use the lifestyle. You know, these are all broader umbrella terms to encompass relationships where you have multiple people involved who all consent to having more than one sexual and or romantic involvement.
I guess the lifestyle definition for me is just being open with yourself and with other people about, you know, what you are, and who you are sexually. I love the lifestyle. I love the community.
Our community is about combining desire. So whatever you desire sexually, or your sexual interest, and the idea of belonging when you have community.
The lifestyle, also known by other names such as ethical non-monogamy, or ENM for short, or consensual non-monogamy, is a massive umbrella term that encompasses so many things. In its simplest terms, ENM is a relationship structure where partners agree to be romantically or physically involved with multiple people. ENM relationships are ethical because they emphasize consent, communication, honesty, and openness. But the lifestyle also gives you something that monogamy doesn't: variety. The way you structure your relationship when you're ethically non-monogamous can be tailor-made to whatever works best for you and your partner.
Did you notice how many different words and terms there were?
Yeah, it's like a whole fucking new dictionary.
Who knew there was so many ways to shake up a relationship?
Although it's kind of interesting, there seems to be something for everybody though.
You're right. Ethical non-monogamy can include such terms as swinging.
I know what swinging is. That's just a bunch of people having orgies.
Sometimes, but there is actually a lot more to it than that.
Swinging is more sex-based, where a lot of swinger culture, as far as I understand it, avoids the Netflix and skips right to the chill.
Swinging is folks who are literally swapping partners, or sometimes having sex with each other, with another couple or couples in a room, but it's really about sex. Now, I know there are plenty of swingers who push back on that because yes, there are friendships, they may have like kinships, but they're not relationships. They're not having full-on love relationships. So it's really sex-centered.
In general, swinging is folks who are approaching non-monogamy as a couple unit and interacting often with other couple units, sometimes with singles. Swinging may or may not include any kind of like romantic or intimate emotional connection with the people they play with. It tends to be primarily sexual first.
Since the dawn of mankind, people have been doing things to explore their sexuality, but swinging in America is believed to have started in the 1940s. A surprising phenomenon was unfolding within the ranks of the US military. Some think it was the Army, others believe it to be the Air Force. Either way, military men and their spouses were engaging in a dynamic that came to be known as swinging. The details are shrouded in mystery. The 40s wasn't exactly known for its open honesty about sexuality. This was an era when such matters were rarely studied and even less openly discussed. During World War II, soldiers were often deployed for extended periods of time. Other soldiers would look after each other's wives, and this fostered an environment where non-monogamy became acceptable. This practice spread from military communities to suburbs and was labeled wife swapping by the media in 1957. The sexual revolution of the 60s and 70s brought drastic change, as ideas about sexual freedom, women's liberation, and LGBTQ+ rights gained traction. Open relationships became popular in the counterculture. Swinging allowed couples to explore love and sexual freedom outside of traditional monogamy, challenging the notion that women's bodies existed solely for men's pleasure. Hollywood also embraced swinging with films like Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice and The Wife Swappers in 1970, bringing more attention to the lifestyle. Also in the 70s, new swingers clubs and parties, as well as a few resorts and retreats, started to appear. One of the most famous was New York's Plato's Retreat.
Hi, swingers. We're Larry and Mary, co-owners of Plato's Retreat, the only on-premise swing club in New York.
We're a couples-only private chartered club. On our premises, we have 3 separate air-conditioned swing rooms, 2 whirlpools, disco music, and a lounge area with sofas and pillows.
Sadly, with the effects of the AIDS epidemic and the conservative politics of the 80s and 90s, swinging saw a decline. However, it never fully went away and persisted as a subculture with a loyal and enthusiastic fan base. Today, the internet has made it easier than ever for like-minded swingers to find each other, with numerous websites and online communities devoted to swinging.
That's really interesting. I never knew all about that.